Hello everybody, Pineapple here. So after many days and many nights of study, I have become the Vaylantz Master, and I'm here to share my knowledge of them with you, the viewer. So if you're unfamiliar with Vaylantz, they're a pendulum archetype who look to move around the board by jumping from the spell trap zone into the main monster zone and forcing your opponent's monsters into the spell trap zone from their main monster zone in order to turn off their disruptions. All of them have some way to special summon themselves from the spell trap zone if certain conditions are met, and those that don't have conditions to meet will lock you into Vaylantz monsters outside of the extra deck. They are by far one of, if not the most unique archetypes in the game, as unlike most pendulum archetypes, they are not Pepe light, although their game plan isn't much different, as their goal is still to turbo out about 1,000,000,000 negates. However, this deck aims to do it instead by normal summoning our good friend Cyberstein, instead of just making about a bajillion different cards. So let's hop into the card by card. First up, we have the Abystial package. We're playing double Druis, double Pizza Hut, and one Saronir here because the Bestials are great. Then we have Gizmek Okonami. The reason is for it's a small world bridge. You don't have to think about it anymore. We of course have one Cyberstein because this is our primary game plan, and that is the goal of the deck. For the Vaylantz cards, starting off, we have two copies of Dominator Duke. He can special summon himself from the spell trap zone if one of the field spells is on the board, or if you control a fire attribute Vaylantz. Additionally, he allows you to target a set spell trap on the field, and for the rest of the turn, that card can't be activated. The most important thing about this card, however, is that if he moves to a different main monster zone, he's able to target an opponent's monster and take control of it until the end of the turn. However, that monster isn't able to attack, has its effects negated, and it's treated as a Vaylantz monster, which is useful for fusion summoning. He's an excellent board breaker, but he's awful going first, and that's why we only are playing 2 copies of him. Next up, we have Hojo the Vaylantz Warrior. We're playing 2 copies of him. Like Duke, he can special summon himself if one of the field spells is on the field. However, instead of a fire monster, he has the alternative of a water Vaylantz monster. He also allows you to bounce a card in the spell trap zone back to the hand, meaning you can push your opponent's extra deck monsters into the back row and then return them to the extra deck while they're defenseless. Additionally, if he moves to an adjacent monster zone, he is able to perform a fusion summon of a Vaylantz monster. He's alright. The big value comes from being able to remove your opponent's back row, which does come up as people like back row. Continuing on, we have 2 copies of Nazuki the Vaylantz Ninja, who has the same summoning conditions as Hojo. His monster effect allows you to target another monster on the field and move it to an adjacent monster zone. Additionally, if he moves to a different monster zone, he's able to target a Vaylantz monster in your spell trap zone and summon it into the same column it's currently in. He's an alright extender, and as a level 6 helps make Wallow, so that's awesome. So we're playing 2 copies of him. Up next, we have 3 copies of Mad Marquise. This card has the same conditions as Duke. Its monster effect, however, is very important. He can roll a 6-sided dice and excavate this result from the top of your deck and add 1 Vaylantz card among them to your hand. This effect is amazing because adding cards is always awesome. His move effect, however, is terrible, and I won't even mention it. Then we have 1 copy of Kaiden Den, the Kendo Spirit. He is really important because he is your beyond the pen target. He allows you to pendulum summon, and he's fabulous because he returns himself to the hand after he performs a pendulum summon, freeing up your spell trap zone in order to place more Vaylantz cards and summon them from the spell trap zone. Moving on, we have 3 copies of Voltage Viscount. He's amazing. This is by far the 2nd best Vaylantz card in the deck. Voltage doesn't have any particular summoning requirements. However, again, if you do summon him with the effect, you are locked into Vaylantz monsters outside of the extra deck. His monster effect is very interesting, as he allows you to place a Vaylantz card from your extra deck that is face up into your spell trap zone. Additionally, if he moves to an adjacent monster zone, he's able to place another one from the extra deck into your spell trap zone. This card is unbelievable at accruing advantage and just swarming capabilities. He's fabulous. He's additionally a level 4 machine, meaning he can be used to go into Gear Key and X and search Stein. So he's amazing. He's a 3 of instant. Moving on, we have 1 copy of Scion the Vaylantz Archer. Scion's okay. He's not great. He, like Voltage, doesn't have a summoning condition, but he does lock you into Vaylantz monsters. His monster effect allows you to target a monster on the field, toss a coin. If it's heads, negate its effects. If it's tails, have that monster's attack. It's a pretty big difference in terms of what you get, but overall it's not horrible no matter what you get. But his effect when he is moved is actually really good. He allows you to target a card on the field, not a monster, and allows you to toss a coin, and if it's heads, destroy it, and if it's tails, return it to the hand. So you better believe that card is leaving the field. This effect is really useful, of course, because it's pretty much guaranteed removal, and sometimes it's really powerful removal as it returns it to the hand instead of destroying it. Um, but you don't know what you're going to get, and sometimes you need a specific removal, and if it goes wrong, you can get screwed over. So next up, we have our Vaylantz buddy, Buster Baron. So Buster Baron also has no requirements, except he locks you into Vaylantz as well, and if he moves to an adjacent monster zone, um, he lets you target a Vaylantz in your spell trap zone and summon it into the zone above it. Additionally, he has an ignition effect, which allows you to move a monster in your monster zone, specifically a Vaylantz, which triggers all your guys. And lastly, we have the best Vaylantz card, far and by, Shinomi, the Vaylantz Priestess. She's unbelievable. I can't believe this is a real card, and unfortunately, it's your primary searcher and your only searcher, and all of the searching is stapled to it, which really sucks. This card's fantastic. It's everything you could want. Like the previous three monsters, it can summon itself and it locks you into Vaylantz monsters outside of the extra deck. It searches any spell in the archetype as a monster effect, and if she moves, she allows you to search any archetypal monster, which is, obviously really powerful. So, unbelievable card. So, moving on to spells, we have 3 copies of Small World because we will do literally anything to find Cyberstein, and we will do literally anything to find Priestess, and Small World enables that to an excessive degree. We also are on 3 copies of Vaylantz Warning Solo Activation. This card is a literal fucking custom card. I can't believe what it does. It might as well say summon whatever you want from deck. It lets you place a Vaylantz monster in your pendulum zone. Then you can immediately summon it, fire the effect, and then if the field spell is online, you can banish it and move any Vaylantz monster. So, just put Priestess in your spell trap zone, summon her, immediately fire the effect, search the field spell, and then move her and search whatever you want in terms of monsters. Just an unbelievable card. No reason this card should exist. Unbelievable. It does whatever you want it to. Just so fucking stupid. Next up, we have Vaylantz Wars, the place at the beginning. It lets you add a field spell, and then, if you want, you can pop a pendulum monster you control, or should I say, not even monster, a pendulum card you control, meaning no matter where it is, you can just pop it, unless it's in the EMZ, or not EMZ, extra deck, you know what I'm saying. And then you can add Senate Switch. Senate Switch allows you to move a monster in your main monster zone to an adjacent monster zone, so just search a thing that triggers all your Vaylantz cards. Awesome card. It's fantastic, but you only really want to be using it when you're searching it, so that's why we only play 2 copies. Additionally, you can banish it from your graveyard and place a Vaylantz monster that's face up in your extra deck into your spell trap zone, which is amazing in terms of follow-up. We then have the 1 Senate Switch, and we are moving on to the field spells. Now, both of these field spells require the other field spell to be in your opponent's field zone. So, you need to keep that in mind. Both activate the other field spell to your opponent's field spell zone, so you don't really need to worry about it, but you should keep in mind that both players can use the field spells, so you don't want to get screwed over by your opponent using the effects and destroying you. So, Cognizant allows you to target an effect monster in the same column as a monster you control and move it into the spell trap zone, destroying any spell traps in the process, which is incredible removal. Sheer and Bansho does the opposite, allowing you to move a monster out of your spell trap zone into the same column it's currently in. Both of these are hard once per turn, and keep that in mind. And your opponent can use it to punish you as well. But if you keep them off of a field spell, it doesn't matter, and you will be safe, and you can just use it exclusively for you. We play 2 copies because the mill cards for the Ishizu are here, and they suck, and they will ruin your day. Now, in the extra, we have 1 copy of Exterio as our Stein target. We have 1 copy of Vaylantz Genesis Grand Duke. He's a kind of a big body, but he's very useful in that he comes up very occasionally. We also have 1 copy of Springen's Ship Explorer, which is really funny because it blows up spell and trap zones. And you can make it because some of them are level 8. We have 1 copy of Wallow because Graveyard is very powerful right now, and don't let it be. 1 copy of Geargeeken X. This searches Cyberstein. It's amazing. 1 Underworld Goddess of the Closed World. Crusadia Avramax. Nightmare Griffin because it's a funny floodgate, and 1 copy of Access, 1 copy of Apo, 1 copy of Unicorn, and Phoenix, 2 Beyond the Pend, and 1 copy of IP Masquerena. Now, I do want to apologize that this took so long to explain what each of these cards do, but if I didn't, it would literally look like I'm making bullshit up as I go along, and I don't want to do that. So, with that, let's hop into the games. I hope you enjoy. This video is going to be insanely long, but that said, please enjoy. So, our first match is up against Hero, and you're going to see just how powerful Naturia Exterio is. So we'll start with Shinnome, we'll summon her out. We'll use her to search a copy of the field spell. From here, we're going to scale Voltage. We'll use Voltage to summon himself. And then we will use Vaylantz Wars to grab another field spell and search our copy of Senate Switch. We'll use Voltage to replace Shinnome. We'll activate the field spell. And from here, we'll move Shinnome out. We'll activate Senate Switch. We'll use Senate Switch to move Shinnome. We'll trigger Shinnome, and we'll grab another copy of Voltage. From here, we'll link off. We'll make Beyond the Pendulum. We'll add Kaido. We'll scale Kaiden. And we'll scale this copy of Buster Baron. From here, we'll pen 3. We'll trigger Kendo Spirit. We'll make Gear Gain X. We'll search Stein. And from here, we're going to summon out Baron Buster, and then we are going to use Baron Buster to move, summon Stein, and then make a 3-mat Apo. From here, we'll make a copy of Exterio, and then link away for a copy of IP Masquerena. We'll pass back to our opponent. They'll start with a Hero Lives. We'll just Exterio that. They'll Poly. We'll Exterio again. And then they'll normal summon Denier. They'll use Mass Change. We'll Exterio again. From here, they're going to attempt to put our IP Masquerena into our spell trap, so that's completely fine. And then they will pass back to us, and this is going to be the end of the game. From here, we'll place Baron Buster, we'll scale Shinnome, we'll move IP Masquerena back out, we'll use the field spell to put Denier into the spell trap zone, special Shinnome, special Buster, link off for a Unicorn, and then make a copy of Access Code, and that is going to wrap up the game. As you can see, Exterio might as well be Order plus Royal Decree. It's unbelievable. It's so fucking powerful. Yeah. When it's backed up by Apo, it might as well be Skill Drain plus IO plus Royal Decree. It's unbelievable. So our next game is up against Dark World, which is very scary. They'll start with Tsuchinoko, they'll summon Such, they'll go Bigfoot, they'll snipe Grapha, which is unfortunate for us, they'll trigger Grapha, and then they'll use their Field Spell Searcher. We'll banish their Field Spell Searcher so that it isn't online to summon itself. From here, they're just going to activate Ascension, make their big guy who forces us to discard, and then pass to us. This is a board we can very easily deal with. We'll start with Nezuko and Shinnome. We'll summon Shinnome, and from here we'll also summon Nezuki. We'll trigger Nezuki to move Shinnome. We'll use Shinnome's effect to search Voltage, and then we'll use the Ignition effect of Shinnome to search a copy of the field spell. We'll activate the field spell, give them a field spell, and then we'll use their field spell to move their Grapha into their spell trap zone. We'll link off for Beyond the Pend, and continue on from here. From here, we'll scale Kaido, we'll scale Voltage, and then we will proceed to Pend Summon 2. We'll bounce Kaido to our hand, summon out Voltage, and then link off for Unicorn. We'll spin away their copy of Bigfoot, and then negate our own guys a bit. We'll make Access Code, and continue to try to put more damage on board. We'll summon out this copy of Duke, and then just go for lethal. Fortunately for us, this is well over lethal. So, as you can see, the powerful effect of moving stuff to the spell trap zone just to get it out of the way is unbelievable. It's crazy. It's probably one of my favorite parts about this archetype is that it just moves shit away. It gets rid of it. It's such a weird form of disruption. Yeah. So, our next match is a bit of a joke match, but it really just goes to show you how much this deck can kill other forms of jank. You'll see what it's on. We'll start with Shinnome. We'll use Shinnome to search a copy of Wars. And from here, we'll activate Senate Switch directly. We'll use Awakening to set a copy of Voltage. We'll summon out Voltage. We'll use Wars to grab ourselves a copy of Baron Buster. We'll activate the field spell. And from here, we will move our Shinnome. We'll trigger our Shinnome for another copy of Voltage. And from this point, we are going to link off for Beyond the Pend. We'll use Beyond the Pend to grab Kendo Spirit. We'll scale Kendo Spirit, and we'll scare this copy of Buster Baron. From here, we'll pen 3, and then we will return Kendo to his hand. We'll make here Gig an X, grab Stein, and then we will activate Stein. But first, we're going to make a format Apo. We'll go into Stein. We'll make Exterio, summon out this copy of Buster Baron, make this copy of Phoenix, and pop their field spell to turn all their stuff offline. They're going to respond by activating a copy of Extra, and we'll just negate it. Nice Extra. And then they will set 5 and pass. I'll spoil it a little bit. They're on Burn, which is going to do absolutely fucking nothing. They'll flip 3 copies of the Paths of Destiny, and we'll just Exterio all of them, turning them all offline. From here, we'll grab another copy of Shinom, we'll summon Shinom. They'll ring it, and we'll just Exterio. They'll ring again, we'll Exterio. And from here, it's just a matter of climbing into access code and then killing them. I didn't think this replay was particularly good, but it's very fucking funny that we were on 1800 life points against Burn, and they just couldn't do anything because Exterio is too OP. We'll activate another copy of the field spell in order to get out Marquise, and then we'll link off for access code, but they will scoop it up before we get the chance. Now, our last match of the day is up against Labyrinth, a personal favorite of mine, so let's just see how this fares. We'll start with Shinom. We'll summon out Shinom. From here, we are going to grab a copy of Awakening, which is the most broken card in the deck. We'll activate Awakening, we'll grab Voltage, we'll summon out Voltage, we will activate the field spell, we'll give them a field spell, we'll use Awakening to move Shinom, trigger Shinom for another copy of Voltage, and from here we are going to use Small World in order to grab ourselves a copy of our favorite Marquise. We'll make Beyond the Pendulum, grab Kaido, we'll scale Kaido and we'll scale Marquise. We'll pen 3 here, and then from here we are going to use Marquise to summon itself, and then we're going to excavate the top 3 cards of our deck, and we'll find off the top Archer exactly, which isn't the best thing to find, but it's better than nothing. From here we'll make Gig an X, we'll use Gig an X to search a copy of Stein, and then link off for a 3-mat Apo. We'll normal Stein, use Stein to grab Exterio, and then make a copy of IP Masquerena. We'll summon out Hojo so that we have a valid target, and then summon Saijon in order to be able to go into Underworld Goddess should the situation demand it. They'll start with Extract, and we'll immediately Exterio. They'll set 3, and they'll use Ariana to attempt to search. They'll use our guy to try to push IP into the spell trap zone, and we will then make Goddess. From here, they'll try to use their traps, and we'll just continue to Exterio, and they will be shit out of luck. We'll use Druid Swarm here, just to get the extra damage, go into the battle phase, and walk over, and that's going to be the end of the game. So, I really wanted to demonstrate just how interesting this deck is. There's so many different things that you can do. The best play being Cyberstein is very funny, but I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly enjoyed figuring out this deck, the niches. It's a lot to process at first. You gotta think a little, but I highly recommend it as a pendulum deck. I think it's unique. I think it's interesting, and I don't think there's another deck like it. So I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Writing the card by card was more than exhausting, but I hope you enjoyed, and I will of course see you guys in the next one.